The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, says the Buhari administration has recovered funds in excess of 800 billion naira, secured more than 1,400 convictions, as well as forfeiture of ill-gotten property in the last 5 years.
According to Mr. Mohammed, the recent allegations of corruption in a number of government agencies, including the Niger Delta Development Commission, that's the NDDC, National Social Insurance Trust Fund, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, are evidence that the government is intensifying the war on corrupt individuals.
All right, joining us now via Skype is anti-corruption activist, initiator of the Follow the Money, and the founder of Connected Development Code, Hamzat Lawal. Hamzat, good morning. It's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning, and thank you for joining, for having me.
Great. Now, in the last 2 weeks has seen lots of drama one way or the other when it comes to monies being misappropriated, from allegations here and there, allegations and counter-allegations, and disagreements here and there. But in all of those, the Minister of Information says it is just an evidence of the fact that the administration is intolerant of corruption. I wonder what you make of that statement in relation to what you are seeing on ground when allegations are being made of billions of monies being misappropriated by government officials.
Well, I think the minister is not in tune with the current reality in Nigeria. I would advise him to take a trip to various grassroots community. Maybe he should start with the Niger Delta region. I'm currently in Imo State, and I've just left Delta State, visiting various grassroots communities where communities don't even have access to potable drinking water. The roads are terrible, and you have a commission that is meant to use resources to provide service delivery to Nigerian people, and yet we're seeing ground corruption. And today, no one has been arrested or prosecuted. No one has been taken to court or left alone gone to jail. So I think Mr. Minister is not in tune with the current realities. I think he needs to leave his comfort zone in Abuja and tour the country and see the dividends of democracy that Nigerians are enjoying, or lack of it.
1,400 convictions, over 800 billion recovered. And you say the minister is not in touch with realities. How do we, what would be he being in touch with the realities on the ground?
So you say you're fighting corruption. If we want to truly fight corruption in Nigeria, we need to look at how we can leakages. So you say you're resources, but today you don't even have a robust, we don't have a robust procurement policy. Today, a lot of MDAs have not been audited. You appropriate resources, you release resources, and then years afterwards, MDAs are not being audited. So if we want to tackle corruption, let's look at process and system. Let's look at policy and regulatory framework. Let's look at how the executive would work with the legislators to pass bills and make them laws that will strengthen process and system. What we have now are strong men in various MDAs, rather than having strong institutions to regulate and ensure that we curb corruption. And let's even talk about the EFCC chairman. So today, there are allegations and counter-allegations, but yet there have not been charges brought forward. Mr. Magu has not been taken to court. So again, is this another media trial that we have seen over the years and past? Let's not fight corruption with lip services. We want to see people put in jail. So you see you've recovered over 800 billion. How have you now utilized this money to provide service delivery to the Nigerian people? How many children have left the street? We're dealing with the pandemic, COVID-19. Today, our government have not told us how much money have been disbursed and for what purposes, and who are the beneficiaries of this money. Are we giving contract to people who are inflating price during pandemic? Are we actually getting value for our money?
All right. When it comes to trust, the government at one time or the other have called on Nigerians to support the anti-corruption war, to support in telling government anything and giving them information, whatever they know and all of that. Now, when it comes to the issue of trust, remember in the Jonathan administration, we saw the Minister of Finance at that time, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, used to publish how much money states get and all of that. And Nigerians were bonding with understanding how much monies were available to states and local governments and even the federal government. Do you think that is even where to start from when it comes to openness and transparency?
Oh, yes, you need to publish data. You need to publish appropriation, you need to publish disbursement, and also to publish utilization of these resources. Lack of information itself is tantamount to corruption. And if you want to build public trust and public confidence, and I agree, yes, we must join forces together to fight corruption. The war against corruption is a fight for everyone, but government have to lead and show that leadership by example, by publishing this information. And today, you see, you have the NFIU policy that allows for independence at the local level, where now they have their money sent to local government accounts, where executive governors don't have oversight over this money. So it gives that independence, and we hope that with time, probably we'll start seeing dividends of democracy at the grassroots level. But first, government particularly must start publishing information, because you can't say Nigeria is a signatory to the partnership, and yet you can't provide access to information, and there's a lot of secrecy, and you're not even honoring freedom of information requests that is sent to various government MDs, both at the local level, the state, and the national level. Good to be back.
Now, we've seen with the revelations we have seen over the weeks, in recent weeks, a lot of Nigerians are saying that perhaps we should begin to see some persons stepping aside as heads beginning to roll, although we are yet to see that. But are you confident that that should be happening and that would happen on the long run?
I would remain optimistic that probably we would see public officials held accountable, where they will be prosecuted, charges brought forward, and they will be prosecuted and go to jail. But yes, I agree that some of this public official needs to step aside, because you can't have an ongoing investigation where the Honorable Minister for Niger Delta is overseen, and he's also complicit, in the charges or in the allegation that have been brought forward. So we need to see more commitment. We need to see leadership in this front, and we need to see in Nigeria where, when you're being accused, you do the honorable thing by stepping aside, so that this investigation could truly be independent.
Board. One of the things they talked much about was the issue of TSA, which was meant to curb a lot of leakages from government coffers. From all of the allegations we're hearing from government officials against each other one way or the other, would you say the TSA has met its objective in the minds of Nigerians, the way the perception Nigerians had about TSA?
Yes, I think the TSA has met her expectation. We've seen that government is able to manage a single treasury, and we've seen that government has also helped to curb excessive spending and curb some of the leakages in the public. But then again, we need to see where government would have a robust policy around audits. We have an audit bill in front of Mr. President. So beyond the TSA, how are we ensuring that appropriation and spending are being audited? A lot of MDA, in a recent report, over 200 MDAs have not been audited for over 4 years. And, we have a government who is fighting corruption. And again, as much as the government is saying we're fighting corruption and we're winning the war against corruption, let the government leave that to citizens and let them do the job that the Nigerian people have elected them into office to do.
Speaking about the Nigerian people doing their job, you are the founder of Follow the Money. With all of the revelations that you have seen now, what do you intend to do in terms of engagement to ensure transparency and accountability moving forward?
For us, again, Follow the Money tries to curb corruption. So it's a preventive measure. We could have even avoided this NCDC saga. I remember in 2017 when we tracked, billions of resources are budgeted under NCDC. And when we uncovered corruption, we wrote a petition to the EFCC and the National Assembly. Nothing was done at that time, where women were given birth on the road because of lack of primary health care services. But I believe that with the open government partnership and being more open, being more transparent, and honor citizens' freedom of information requests, publish spending, publish appropriation, I believe we can be able to mitigate corruption and probably end corruption in no time at all. I use COVID-19 as an opportunity. Today, government is saying that they have accrued close to 1 billion on COVID-19, but how much have you spent? Today it's only CACOVID that is giving us data on how much they've mobilized, which is over 30.1 billion. what is government doing with these resources and how are they publishing this information? The Ministry of Finance and the Accountant General needs to come public and tell us, so that we won't have a situation where we would have lawmakers tell public officials to off their mic, or where we will have public officials pretend to faint or faint during public hearing.
All right. When it comes to follow the money, a lot of Nigerians feel that through financial intelligence, they can know actually how much money is going where at what time and all of that. But when it comes to that infrastructure, the mechanism to follow every single money as to where it is going and to what account it is going and for what purposes and all of that, how challenging is it for government to track monies, especially from the point of budget to the point of disbursement to the point of allocation and to the point of execution?
I think for government, they have all the resources that they need to actually follow the money, because if you look at government budget, government still gets a huge chunk of expenditure. But what would make it easy is just to even have a dashboard, because today we're talking about rebuilding trust in government. We're talking about supporting government anti-corruption efforts. Can government just publish this information and let's have this dashboard? And for citizens out there, following the money is our role and responsibility, because we're all taxpayers and we must follow the money by asking questions, but asking informed questions that is a channel with data. And in providing this data, government must publish this information.
All right, Hamzat Lawal, thank you so much for speaking with us.